And then Tom will do words of reflection. If you will join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
O Lord and giver of all good, we thank thee for our daily food. May Rotary friends and Rotary ways help us serve thee all our days.
What's the question?
Responsibility.
Yeah, but that's not your focal point right now. I'm the focal point. So again, good afternoon and welcome everybody. Again, it's good to see some of you that we haven't seen in a few weeks. Welcome back to Heidi and Andy from their trip abroad. I'm glad they're back safely. Obviously, one of our guests is our program speaker, Catherine Dimitrick, who many of you already know, and we'll hear from her shortly. But I also want to, again, welcome a new prospective corporate member. And today we have Kyle Davis that is here representing the organization. And we're excited about them joining our club. Kyle has been part of our home show and has had connections with Rob over the years. And so which has really brought us to the forefront. We had a nice lunch on Friday that told us more about Kyle. And they're new to the community as of this summer, I think it is, or around that time. And very much interested in getting involved in the community. So it's exciting to, again, have a new young leader amongst us. And we want to make sure we welcome Kyle. So if you have any chance to do stuff before you leave today, be sure you do so. Kyle, anything you want to share?
I guess I can real quick, yeah. Caught me off guard here, but hi everybody, I'm Kyle Davis. I'm with Board Coverings International. And like Leon was saying, I've been in the home show a few times and I've kind of seen what you guys do for the community. And my boss was super supportive and I was like, I'd love to do it. So here I am. And yeah, thank you guys for what you guys do.
The other thing I'll just share is that Kyle also has 10 years of military service in the Army, which is awesome. So again, through his experiences there, again, he's really developed leadership skills, and so again, we look forward to his engagement in our overall club. So next, we're going to move to Happy and Sad, and so Nancy is going to do her best to collect $1 from each of you, because there's something that all of you have to share. So if you would get ready for Nancy, she's going to be coming around, and who wants to start her off with the first $1? Tom. All right. So here you go, Nancy. The rest is yours.
I nominate Kyle to be second vice president.
I have two. First of all, thank you very much for the recognition. I really appreciate it. Some very nice comments today. I really was very good. The second one is Susan and I went to the BFA string concert yesterday. 125 kids playing violin, violas, cellos, and basses. It was unbelievable. And very, very wonderful group of kids.
One happy $1.
I know you have some carryover from last week.
Oh, that's right. I had the pleasure of meeting Kyle a couple of weeks ago at an event I sponsored out in Jay, and I'm glad to see that he's sitting here at the table, and they have been a supporter of the home show for a few years now. Another happy $1. We now have 2.5 food trucks in the home show. 2.5. I would like another 2.5 food trucks. If anybody has any connection, please let me know, and I'll be happy to reach out. Thank you.
Next.
I don't know how you want to categorize them and how much it'll be. They're kind of pride and happy at the same time. So a couple of weeks ago, I got to stop calling my daughter's partner her boyfriend, and I got to call him my son-in-law. Yeah, it was a quiet ceremony, and we had a backyard barbecue because the other dollar is, I'm very proud to say, he's in the Guard and serving. He's going to be deployed in January, so he'll be gone for a year. So they wanted to kind of get everything squared away before he left. And the real main event is in June, so I have plenty of time to save money to spend on that. And then the last dollar is a proud dollar that as the state of Vermont embraces healthcare transformation and regionalization and all the different things, your community hospital continues to get recognized to be a high value place to seek healthcare. And that's defined by being high quality and low cost. And we have state officials constantly reaching out to us, asking to engage us more and more about how we can do more and more. So it's just a very proud moment to be affiliated with that organization.
The sad dollar is that they're not in green healthcare.
The sad dollar is that does not mean that our rates are going.
All right, others. This is a happy dollar because Sandy Mayotte is going to be my co-chair. We're going to be co-chairing the grab bag and silent auction for the home show. So, woohoo! Yeah.
I'll do mine next then.
Yeah.
And I feel very sad for Anne that I'm going to be her co-chair. It's my second meeting, and I'm already going to help.
We got this. We got
No
this.
worries. No, I also just want to say, as I was walking here, I feel very fortunate and very blessed that I have a beautiful husband who supports me fully. I have beautiful girls, including my daughter and my grandchildren, that fill my heart. And I do work for a very good company and a great boss. And I'm very fortunate, and I do know that, and I want to share that with you all.
Heidi and I just returned from her hometown in Salzburg, Austria. And those of you that watch Sound of Music, it's the 60th year. It's a big deal. And we're good friends with Elizabeth Von Trapp, who was there, and so we got to hang out with her and kind of be part of the festivities going on with that. And but just really appreciate coming back to Vermont too.
Other than sad dollars.
My dog is just as supportive of Aaron and Sandy, because it's a fair amount of work to do that silent auction grab bags. Congratulations.
See you later.
And I'll say, wow. Aaron would have been in our social.
I know, right?
No worry, you can always reach out.
I know what mine is now. Mine is, yes it is. However, in discussions with both young women, this is something that they're going to do just fine with. And let us not forget that the silent auction and the grab bags are responsibilities of all Rotarians. So everybody does a little bit. They oversee everything and make sure that everything comes together for that weekend, and it'll be great. However, I will say the backgrounds that each of them has is going to be perfect for leading the charge for silent auction and grab bag this year. So again, I just want to say thanks to both of you. And yes, it will be a lot of work, but it is spread among many Rotarians.
Joe, is that your committee report? Is that your committee report?
It wasn't a committee.
Man, I don't speak that often.
Maybe appointed as an assistant.
All right, Dan.
Well, I was going to say, it's been 4 months today that I've been at St. Albans. Amazing to be welcomed by amazing practice, amazing group of people at Rotary, and just like amazing experience. Great. Awesome.
Cheers. Fantastic. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dave. Karen, you gonna do the 50-50?
Those cards, oh, here they are. Okay.
All right.
We have the new guy. Yes.
All right, Kyle, you're gonna make a friend here.
Right.
Hopefully it's a new one.
All right, we got 529071. I got it. Joe?
Nice
You said you were giving me
I
one.
did.
Holy cow.
So Kyle, just so you know, this 50-50, you get a chance to pull a card out of the deck.
Okay.
And if you get the Joker, you get half of the funds that have been raised to date.
Okay.
And so right now, I think over half is a little over $300 if you were to pull the Joker today.
Okay.
Some would say we are in the jokers in the club.
And
But there's only one,
And
and
I would, yeah.
Do you identify as one?
So he's got, so in theory, he'd win $8.
Yeah, but it's gonna go.
Right, but he's gonna keep it?
And then we keep the card, because the card on the back has our forward test.
all right, thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're gonna move into, again, community updates, club updates, and then anything from the community that people want to share before we get to, again, our speaker this afternoon. So first, if, Joe, is there anything more you'd like to add to that other report that you provided?
I don't want to take anybody's time, just that it's gonna be short. The Expo, Home and Recreation Expo chairs met for the first time last week, and now we're full more in all phases, so that's all I'll say. And I do want to thank all the chairs for volunteering.
Great. Karen, cardiac.
Just so you know, we've already held our first meeting, yay, and set out a strategy. We're gonna do, our goal this year is at $250,000, which we think we can make. Yes. And we're starting to look at grants. We have a grant committee, we've got a marketing committee now. So if anybody is willing to come onto the committee, there's lots of things to do. And we'll be meeting again in November. So now we're starting to meet every single month again. Peter?
Just a recommendation, how about everybody's instantly on the committee, and in order to get off, they have to buy their way out?
I love that. That's why the CEO.
I've got a wedding the day for it.
I didn't say the cardiac chant.
November is our coat drive, as you know, so we are in the process of getting the boxes out to those that are going to provide drop-off locations. We do have a press release that Bridget is going to put out this afternoon, so that's ready to go. We've got a couple of flyers for social media as well. So again, we're very fortunate to have a number of businesses that are willing to, again, have that as a drop-off, and a couple other businesses that are doing internal campaigns as well. So that's well underway. If you have extra coats and you don't find the time to drop off any of these locations, you can bring them here and we will take care of that. See how easy we can make it for you? So in any case, so that's, again, our goal has been over the last couple of years is over 1,000 coats. And then the ones we collect in the outside communities, we want to keep them in those communities and work whether it's the food shelf or other organizations there to get them to those in need.
Hats, gloves, and mittens too.
What's that?
Hats, gloves, and mittens, and nice.
Yes, accessories are welcome as well. Yes, absolutely.
And I've heard
Boots, yes, we always do boots, sorry.
And they really appreciate plus size things as well, because folks often can't find coats that fit them. So
Yeah, for all ages, all sizes, all colors, everything is welcome. Next treks, just so everybody is up to speed on where we are with our cycling effort, we have ordered the first bench. It's coming, so hopefully in a couple of weeks we will have that arrive. We'll see whether it comes assembled or not, otherwise Andy said he's happy to put it together. The next thing we're going to figure out is the wording to put on the bench, and then decide on where that first bench. And then the second piece is we have to work to continue to get more benches within the community. We have to work with other organizations. Rotary can't be the only source of the plastics for additional benches. So right now, NMC is up next to, again, look at getting an internal campaign going there as well. So that's the next. Then we're going to, again, periodically add new so that we'll end up with a rotation of, again, plastics. So, you know, right now, just from where we started, we have over 4 tons of plastic that had been rediverted to the Northwest Solid Waste District. So we're excited about that as well. Nancy and Dan and Patty are our Hallmark Committee members that are in the process of looking at the activity that we're going to have in the park on November 29th. And so there are, anything you want to share specifically, any of the 3 of you? No? Of course not. so Patty said part of what we're going to do is an activity that's going to require a sap bucket. So she has garnered the sap bucket. So Nancy's responsibility was to find reindeer.
Found them.
She found them, but right now they have been committed already for this year. So we were thinking that would be kind of fun to add reindeer into the park. So we'll have to work on scheduling for the next year, year after, if you will. And then, you know, Dan is also working on how we're going to draw people to the Rotary booth with lights and so on. And we will have an activity that will require some throwing of, whether it's a snowball or something of that nature. But we will be active in there, so it'll be a fun day. Hopefully the weather will be reasonable with us. Swan Restore, again, our service projects. I'm going to just pass it around again, just in case somebody didn't see it. If you want to join us on Saturday or the following Thursday, just make sure you have your name on that list. Again, they very much appreciate what we've done in the past, and we are excellent workers, and we know how to organize. The other piece is that I did connect with Jason Weatherby at the police department. So they're doing their frozen turkey drive for Martha's Kitchen on Monday, November 24th. So we've helped out for the course of the day, manning that station, if you will, for them, because obviously they have more important things than just to kind of wait for people to drop things off. So we do that through the course of the day, fill up the cruiser, and so we have 1-hour intervals for people to kind of be there. So if you can do that sometime on Monday the 24th, please put your name down as well. Citizen of the Year, Tom. Date, at least, if you want to mention the date, whatever you want to mention.
I'm pleased to announce our nomination has been unanimously approved by the Board of Directors. This year's recipient is retired firefighter Joe Beaudry. Joe has an extensive, has spent over 30 years with the St. Albans City Fire Department. He's a diehard volunteer at Little League, and he's been known to wear the Santa suit frequently in the park, supporting all of the local functions. So that will take place on the 16th of December at Hardak, and we look forward to all of you being there.
Thank you, Tom, and the committee as well. Since he mentioned Hardak, this Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock at Hardak, we are going to do a check presentation. As you know, some of you heard Tim Holber from Hardak Inc. here, again, about their efforts to fundraise for additional snow guns for Hardak. And so we, the Rotary Board, again, has made a commitment to them over a 3-year period. And so the first check will be for $3,334 that we will present to them. So anybody that can join us for that at Hardak, that would be wonderful. We thought it'd be nice to have that happen there versus a check presentation at this meeting.
When was that again?
4 o'clock this Thursday at Hardak. Yep. The next thing is this Saturday. I know some of you are going to be working at Swan Restore. I have to go to the Rotary International Leadership Program in St. Johnsbury for the day. But it's also open to any Rotarian that, again, wants to work on their leadership and learn more about Rotary in the process. It's kind of a 3-part program, but this is the first part. So given my new role, it is important that at least I understand what this program is all about. So I will be going to St. Johnsbury for the day on Saturday, but if anyone would like to join me, it'll only be 2 hours in the car with me one way.
Are we gonna leave you there? Are we gonna leave you there?
But anyways, it's a great opportunity to meet Rotarians across the district. Peter, are you volunteering?
No, I just want credit for not saying anything to them.
I recognized it. So, the other thing that, a conversation, as you know, the Chamber of Commerce, the Franklin County Regional Chamber of Commerce, and Rotary have reciprocal memberships. So visiting with Caitlin, I do go to the Chamber Mixer, which was, again, well done by Northwestern Medical Center, and Peter and his team did an excellent job in welcoming people from the community, and Peter did a great job with his remarks. But again, we've talked about, both of us, in terms of how do we welcome new members into our community, people coming from the outside in, whether it's individuals, families, or businesses. And so we're going to meet and talk about what does that look like as, again, two organizations. So anyone that wants to get involved at some point, I'm sure it will take some next steps, or at least we're going to start the conversation. And thinking that's really been a way to bring awareness to Rotary as well as the Chamber. So anyways, anybody has thoughts or ideas on that, make sure you forward them as well to me, at least the first initial meeting to get us started. Okay? All right. Yes, Aaron?
We're scheduling our first meeting to talk about days and times for the second volunteering fair for Franklin County. We're looking at it in March, April. We're trying to figure out the best location and timing. So if that is something that you're interested in being more involved in this year, please reach out and let me know. And I will include you in any future emails that I send out.
Yeah, we had a great turnout for the first year. We had, what, 36?
60.
No, but organizations involved.
Yes, yeah, it was over 30 organizations and over 60 folks from the community came to learn about volunteer opportunities. So,
right.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Other community announcements? Okay, hearing none, then I would invite, again, our program speaker to come forward. I know she's got to get mic'd here in a second, but again, the Northwest Regional Planning Commission is a very important organization that really serving all of Franklin County, and Grand Isle as well?
Yes.
And Grand Isle. And I don't think people realize the impact that the Planning Commission has with the municipalities and those that they serve. So I think it's really important to really have a better understanding right now of some of the various initiatives and projects that are well underway. They also, again, are an organization that look for a source of funds to support these initiatives and really bring dollars back into our community, which is really critical. So they are an important, really, partner and collaborator within our community, and I think it's really an opportune time really to kind of update from Catherine as what's transpiring within Franklin and Grand Isle County. So Catherine, leave it to you.
Fabulous, thank you. It's really nice to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to come and talk to you about regional planning. I left you something on the table about our regional plan, which I'll get to in a few minutes, but it's a really great opportunity to just talk about the depth and breadth of things that we work on at Northwest Regional Planning Commission. So as Leon said, we do serve Franklin and Grand Isle counties. In Vermont, in the absence of county government, there's really nothing between municipalities and the state. Regional planning commissions kind of step in and fill that void to a certain extent. Northwest Regional Planning Commission is one of 11 regional planning commissions statewide, and we do cover the whole state, and we're very similar in terms of the services and the programs that we offer. We are a governmental entity. Some folks think we're a nonprofit, but we are actually a governmental entity. We're a special purpose municipality under Vermont state law. We're governed by a board, so every town in the region gets to appoint 2 members to serve on our board of commissioners, and they serve as the governing body that sets our budgets, sets long-term policy. And then we have a staff of 14, including myself, that work on a host of programs and projects. Primarily what we do falls into a few different buckets. One is that we do projects of a regional scale, and I'll talk about those in a minute. Another bucket of projects that we do are really serving as extensions of town staff. So as you know, most of the towns in our region have very limited staff because they have the staff that they need to do the day-to-day operations of their communities. But when they have a project or an initiative or a disaster that happens, they work with us, and our 14 staff members serve as their expertise, serve as a technical assistant, serve as project managers, and really help communities get projects and programs done. Our funding comes from a variety of sources. We do get base funding from the state of Vermont. If you've bought or sold property lately, you know about the property transfer tax. A very small portion of that goes to the Regional Planning Commission to support our base operations. We have about a $5 million budget, and of our budget, that is about 20% of our budget. The rest is municipal contributions, which is a very small but very important part of our budget. And then the remainder is grants that we seek to do the work that benefits our region and our municipalities. So I'll talk about a few different program areas that we work in. Housing is one that we've spent considerable time working in lately. We were able to get a grant from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston to do a program called the Working Communities Challenge. And looking around the room, many of you participated in one way or another in our Housing for All campaign. And we did a couple of things with that. One of them that we did is we helped develop housing targets for each municipality in the region. And on one side of the handout I gave you is a description of what those housing targets mean. So, as you know, Vermont's in a housing crisis. These housing targets really set out the amount of new homes that will be needed to get the market healthy, to get price increases under control, and to get a healthy vacancy rate. And so we're working with our towns to just help them understand what that means in terms of programs and regulations and how they should be thinking about housing moving forward so that we can help our towns be a part of the solution to our housing crisis. The other thing we did is we funded an accessory dwelling unit pilot project. So we worked with, we had a competitive grant application. We worked with 4 property owners to go through the whole process of the idea of it would be great if we had a small apartment in our house to actually constructing it. The first one was finished last month. It's been really illuminating to be a housing builder and to see the challenges and the opportunities that exist in even doing small projects like accessory dwelling units. And so we'll be using those lessons learned to work with state officials and our legislators to see if we can make some changes to make that a little bit of an easier process. We're not economic developers. That we leave to Franklin County Industrial Development and Lake Champlain Islands Economic Development Corporation. But what we do is we work on some foundational projects in communities that help support that economic development. One example is water and wastewater projects. So we're currently working with the town of Highgate and the town of South Hero on new wastewater projects. Neither community has wastewater services now. In Highgate, it would support a proposed 30-unit senior housing project as the anchor, and it would enable redevelopment of the village core, that property that the town now owns. And in South Hero, it will really enable the village of South Hero to grow and thrive in a more dense way that is economically viable and really fits with Vermont's traditional way of our villages surrounded by our working landscape. So those are the types of projects we work on to support economic development. Both of those, when they're constructed, will enable different type of economic development projects for commercial industries that aren't really able to build on conventional septic. So those are 2 great examples. We also have a brownfields program. Brownfields are contaminated properties or properties that people think might be contaminated, and that contamination is an impediment to development. You can think of many in the city. Fonda was one great example, and you can see what's happened there. Since we started this program, we've invested $5 million in Franklin and Grand Isle counties on brownfields assessment and brownfields cleanup. So we can pay to assess a property and come up with a remediation plan, and then we have a revolving loan fund and a grant fund to help pay for part of the cleanup. That has been a really successful project. It's funded through EPA grants that are highly competitive nationally and that we apply for every couple of years, and we've been very, very fortunate to continue to be funded in that one. Go through my notes here. The other major initiative that we work on is water quality. So Vermont instituted a new system about 3 years ago where instead of the state paying for deciding what projects need to be constructed to improve water quality, they delegated that authority to watershed organizations that exist within the watershed, and those are called clean water service providers. Northwest Regional Planning Commission serves as the clean water service provider for the Missisquoi Basin and the Lamoille Basin. So we cover a very large geography. The state of Vermont grants us funding, which we then provide to project implementers like Friends of Northern Lake Champlain, the Natural Resources Conservation District, Missisquoi River Basin Association, and those groups work with property owners to do projects that help improve water quality. Right now, we've funded 58 projects that are in various stages of planning to construction. Some are still in the idea phase, and some, like the removal of the dam in Berkshire, are in actual construction phase. When they're all said and done, if they're all built, we would reduce 600 kilograms of phosphorus loading into Lake Champlain. So it's a very impactful project and program. When it comes to some municipal assistance that we offer, we do planning and zoning assistance to our municipalities. We actually serve as a zoning administrator for 2 municipalities, and we help our towns do their town plans and their bylaw updates, and that keeps us very, very, very busy. We have a GIS program, so we do online mapping and computer mapping that we do for all of our towns and for the region. One example of that is that we give all of our towns annually an updated road atlas that's used mostly by public safety and public works crews, and has all the new E911 addresses. We give them an actual paper book that they can take with them and flip through, and that's something that's basic but very valuable. And do you want a copy?
The answer yes, I love it, but is that also the data that gets uploaded to like the GPS systems and all that?
It's some of the same data, but it's not exactly the same data. I think ours is more accurate. I'm going to claim that. And then the other thing I wanted to highlight is we do emergency planning. So we're not emergency responders, but we do work with our public safety officials and our municipal officials to make sure we're prepared to respond to a disaster and recover from a disaster. And when a disaster does strike, we have staff members who are trained to work in the State Emergency Operations Center and serve as an extension to state staff. So it's something we haven't had to, the emergency response, we haven't had to be very active in lately, and we'll hope that remains the case. But we do spend a lot of time working with our communities, helping them be prepared and do their local emergency plans. And then the final thing I want to talk about is our regional plan, because we're in the process of updating it right now. So there was a new state law passed 2 years ago that requires all of the regional planning commissions to do a brand new regional plan. We've done a regional plan forever, just like your towns all have town plans. And it requires us to do a new plan. And it also has some benefit too. So our new plan now will do 2 things. It will set areas on a map that have different jurisdiction for Act 250, giving some Act 250 relief for housing projects in our village areas, our downtowns, and our growth areas. And then the second thing is our regional plan maps will now set the areas of each community that are eligible for the state incentive programs like tax credits for redevelopment and extra points for grant applications for infrastructure projects. So we have been spending the last year working with our communities to develop a new regional plan that has a new map that shows all of these areas. And the best way to look at it is online. That's why I didn't bring a printout. And if you go to the website that's shown there, you can actually go online and you can zoom in and see all the different areas. Our regional plan is now under review by a new state board that's going to be in charge of approving that. We're going to get their initial comments. We'll address any comments they have, and then we plan to adopt it probably in the March timeframe. So by spring, we will have a new regional plan, and we will have some long-term Act 250 relief for housing projects in our downtowns, village, and growth areas in our community, which I think will be a really great positive change. That's my quick rundown. Yeah, it's a lot.
Not a question, but just congrats on the Act 250 relief. That's got to be huge. It's gotta help out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's making a real difference already. There's some interim Act 250 relief that's in place right now, and I think that's making a difference already in how some people are thinking about development and opportunities.
Other questions? Joe, and then Andy.
Two-part. Number one, wouldn't expect this question, but I'd like to know, or I think we might like to know, since you've been executive director, what are you most proud of that's been accomplished during your tenure? And then the second part is, as we're going forward and with all the new plans and everything else that's being developed, what do you see as the one thing that can make the most impact possibly in the future?
Ooh. Do I get to be in charge of making that thing happen? Is that so the thing I'm most proud of, I would say what I am the most proud of is all of the resources, the money that we have brought to our region, to our municipalities to actually build things and get things done. And there's a whole list of items that fall under that category, but I think that's what I'm most proud of, because without that funding, all the best intentions wouldn't go anywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm most proud of. In terms of the one thing that I think could make a difference is, it's not a project, but it's a process. I think we need to get out of our own way more often. We have made, it's funny, the more we're in charge of building things at regional planning, the more I sound like a developer. Like, we make it really hard to build things. And even the really good projects that are fully supported by a community, like a Highgate wastewater project, is gonna take us probably 10 years from idea to construction. And that ends up losing public support and probably doubling the cost than if we had been able to do it in, say, 3 years. And so I think the most important thing we could do in Vermont is to look at all of our processes, and the ones we're in charge of, make them easier.
So fast track.
Yeah.
Andy.
Question about the rail trail.
Yeah.
How do you see that like going forward in the recreation economy, and especially in our region?
Yeah, I think that there's nowhere to go but up with the rail trail. So for the longest time, one of my biggest frustrations is that we were in charge of managing the Missisquoi Valley Rail Trail. I mean, couldn't get anyone at the state to care that we have this 26-mile resource, and we were the only ones that managed it because nobody else would care. And now that we got the Lamoille, now everybody at the state is like, rail trails are great, which we'll take that. Like, yes, they are. We've been trying to tell you that. So I think there's huge opportunity. Swanton just completed a new trailhead project. We are working, we have on the Lamoille and the Missisquoi Valley Rail Trail websites, there's interactive maps with trail-friendly businesses. That's a program that we've been running out of our office. So there's just a lot that I didn't have time to talk about. So thanks for asking. So the trail-friendly business program, so I think it's a great economic development tool. I think Franklin County in particular, because we have the 2 rail trails that connect in Sheldon, I think we have a huge opportunity that has yet to be realized, because unlike Lamoille County, which is very much a tourist-based economy to begin with, we're still building that tourist-based economy in Franklin County. And so I think the future is unlimited in terms of that.
Just to add to that, I mean, you only need to go over to the Northeast Kingdom to realize how easy it is to put Vermont on the national and international map with Kingdom Trails and what they've done. So I totally agree with you. It's great for the health of the community as well.
And then just note that one thing I did want to mention is moving forward, one of the ideas that we're going to be paying a lot of attention to is regional governance. So I'll say that in this room, not county government, not county taxing authority, but really just looking at Vermont's system of governance in terms of what our towns are expected to do and the burdens that are placed on them, and whether that's the right place for it. Are there better ways of doing it through a regional structure, or through moving some things back up to the state, or just letting them go because they're not necessary anymore? And just really taking a look at our system of governance and how we can serve the Vermont we have now and in the future versus the Vermont we've had in the past.
We're partnering with
get a grant, and we're doing an evaluation of just all the transportation needs in the area from, NMC, we pay for a lot of taxis to discharge patients. People who own businesses have trouble getting employees to work because they don't have reliable transportation. And with GMT leaving the area, it's left an opportunity for us to present some ideas to RCT as they come in. So Amy Brewer, who I work with, is kind of convening the group, and if anybody wants to get involved, just let me know. But yeah, NRPC has definitely taken the lead and is helping us organize everything. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, then again, I want to, on behalf of the Rotary Club, certainly want to thank Catherine for joining us this afternoon, but more importantly for her leadership and what she does for the community.
Thank you.
So before we close out, one thing I forgot, we just all celebrated, as you can see from the decorations, is Halloween. So one, I want to thank Karen. Karen was again leading, getting all the materials for the most part for our both our trick or treat and our trunk and treat. If you saw some of the photos, again, from the last weekend or so, again, gives you an idea, but obviously first we did the City of St. Albans trick or treat for about an hour, and I think we estimated somewhere around 650 that came to our table. So again, it was a nice chance to see a lot of people on that Saturday. And then we were also at the Subaru dealership for the trunk and treat, and thankfully they moved it from outside into the showroom, so that was a little bit more comfortable. But I'm not sure about Tom, how comfortable he was. Tom was dressed for outdoors, but we brought him indoors. But he did get awarded the best hunter costume. So, the part that you missed though is that John still has the moves.
Yeah.
So anyways, again, he got those little kids to dance as they were coming up to our table, so which was awesome as well. One thing that you'll see, again, if you look carefully at the picture, we were also awarded a trophy that evening for the Rotary Club. So again, I think it's for spirit mostly, not necessarily that were we the scariest trunk or treat, but
We had the prettiest table.
we were pretty scary if you look at the group. But anyway, but in any case, Dan was there, Bill Kimball was there, John was there, Karen, myself, Tom. But again, another great way to connect with community that evening. So again, another fun way to bring Rotary about. So anyways. So our next meeting, again, is 2 weeks from now on the 18th. So you're going to have the pleasure of listening to a couple people in this room. One is going to be Heidi Crossman and Andy Crossman. And they are going to share a little about the experience at their first Rotary International Conference. So I just can't wait to hear what they have to say. Because I've been there with them, we'll see how accurate they are. So anyways, I think it'll be a great insight as to get a larger picture of Rotary. So don't miss out on that as well. And again, some of the sites that Andy and Heidi took in when they had a little extra time before I arrived. So again, this is where you see Rotaries everywhere across the world, or the globe. Again, which is a nice connection. So in any case, that's what's going on. So with that, again, I want to thank everybody for being here, for your engagement, enthusiasm, and for being a Rotarian. And we're going to do that officially here in a short bit for Kyle. So with that, thanks everybody. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Thanks.